I am going to enjoy this video immensely. If you know me, if you watched my videos before, and you'll see how this video develops, you'll understand why. The 3-1 comeback. The block.
Cleveland! This is for you!
It's a moment burned into our collective basketball memory. The media created fairy tale ending that serves as the crown jewel of LeBron James' career. It's the title that prompted LeBron James to claim that it made him the greatest player of all time.
That one right there made me the greatest player of all time.
The story we're all sold is that of a king returning home to slay an immortal giant, the 73-9 Golden State Warriors. But what if that legendary story is built on a foundation of many convenient omissions? What if the narrative we've all bought into ignores the massive asterisks that practically handed Cleveland the title? This isn't about hate. It's about truth, facts, and context. Because when you look past the romance of the comeback, you find a story of a giant that was already mortally wounded, off balance, and missing its key players at the worst possible time. And the first wound happened in the first round of the 2016 playoffs. The truth is, there is no way LeBron James and the Cleveland Cavaliers would have won this series if the Warriors were healthy and no suspensions were handed out. And today, we're deconstructing the myth to prove it. Now first, let's remember the 2016 Warriors were a force of nature for the league and those rules that were implemented then. They broke the 1996 Bulls record with 73 wins, orchestrated by the first ever unanimous MVP, Stephen Curry. He was a human cheat code, having one of the greatest offensive seasons ever. But Steph Curry in those finals was a shadow of himself. In the first round, he slipped and sprained his right MCL. For a player like Curry, whose game is built on explosive, shifty movement, an MCL sprain is like trying to drive a Formula One car with the wheels misaligned. The power's there, but you can't steer. It completely robs a player of their lateral quickness and ability to cut. And that's what Steph Curry does. The stats prove he was physically compromised. In the finals before 2016 and after 2016, Steph averaged over 26 points per game on 44% shooting. In 2016, he averaged 22 points on 40% from the field. He couldn't create separation, and his legendary finishing at the rim plummeted. But more telling was his playing time also. In the finals before and after 2016, he averaged over 40 minutes a game. But in 2016, clearly hampered by injury, he could only manage just under 35 minutes. The Warriors' engine was running on fumes because their driver was physically limited. He never made an excuse, but the eye test and the numbers tell the real story. As I said, Curry never gave any excuses like LeBron tried to do with his broken hand in 2018. LeBron always has to blame something. That's just LeBron.
Cleveland.com. LeBron, we're just learning about your hand injury, and we can obviously see the brace. Can you take us through what happened and if it caused you any problems over the final 3 games?
What happened? Self-inflicted. Post-game after game 1. Very emotional.
After that was revealed, Bleacher Report, that always covers LeBron's ass, also ran a story about that right after the last whistle.
Were your struggles directly related to something mental or physical?
I mean, it doesn't help missing the time, but that was never an excuse for me when I came back from the injury. I've always said if I'm out there playing, hurt or not hurt, it doesn't matter. It's what the results are, and that stays true till today. There's no room for anecdotes other than we didn't get it done and I didn't play my best.
Even with a hobbled MVP, the Warriors stormed out to a 3-1 series lead. Game 5 was set for Oakland, a coronation waiting to happen. But it never did because of what happened late in Game 4. LeBron James stepped over a fallen Draymond Green, and Green retaliated with a swipe. You can say LeBron James initiated the whole situation, but after the game, the league reviewed the play and upgraded the foul on Green to a flagrant 1. That single decision flipped the entire series. It was Draymond's 4th flagrant foul of the playoffs, triggering an automatic 1-game suspension. Draymond wasn't just the team's emotional leader, he was their defensive anchor and primary playmaker. Removing him from the lineup was like pulling the central pillar out of a skyscraper. The entire structure was doomed to collapse sooner or later. There are rumors the NBA did this to extend the series and help LeBron a bit. Well, it worked, and it helped him all the way. Without Draymond, the Warriors' defensive communication fell apart and their offense grew stagnant. LeBron James and Kyrie Irving took full advantage, each dropping 41 points, but that historic performance came against a team missing its defensive soul. That suspension wasn't just a turning point. It was the moment the door was kicked wide open for Cleveland, and the narrative that conveniently leaves this out is a fantasy. As if losing their defensive captain wasn't enough, the Warriors suffered another devastating blow in that same game. Starting center Andrew Bogut, the team's main rim protector, went up to block a shot and suffered season-ending bone bruises in his knee. You cannot overstate this loss. Bogut was the team's defensive goalkeeper, the physical wall that cleaned up every mistake on the perimeter. His impact was immediate for the series. Bogut was averaging 2 blocks per game in that series. In the first 7 minutes of Game 5, he already had 3 of them. Then he went down and the Warriors' interior defense simply ceased to exist. With Green suspended and Bogut out, the lane to the basket became a superhighway for Cleveland. The numbers are staggering. After Bogut went down for good, the Cavs' scoring exploded. LeBron and Kyrie went from attacking to absolutely feasting against backups like Festus Ezeli and Anderson Varejao. In the final games, they were living in the paint because the Warriors had no one left to stop them. That's how a team that was in control Game 5, with an injured Curry still shooting 38%, suddenly found themselves helpless. The Cavaliers didn't just beat the Warriors. They beat a suspended and critically injured team. But that part of the story always gets left out. So let's recap. A hobbled MVP running on fumes, a suspended defensive captain for a closeout game, and a missing starting center who was their only rim protector. This isn't to take away from the incredible performances by LeBron James and Kyrie Irving, as statistics say. They played at a very high level. But context is everything. This would not have happened with a healthy Curry, Green without a suspension, and a present Andrew Bogut. What do you think was the biggest factor in the Warriors' collapse? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoy the deep dives that challenge mainstream sports narratives, make sure you subscribe. When you lay out the facts, the story of LeBron single-handedly taking down a full-strength 73-win giant completely falls apart. The team that lost 2016 finals was not the historic team that won 73 games. They were a compromised, depleted, and demoralized version of themselves. Think about it. They lost Game 5 at home without their Defensive Player of the Year. They lost the final 2 games without their starting center and rim protector. And they played the entire series with a unanimous MVP who was so hobbled by a knee injury, he could barely move like himself. Any one of these is a major blow. All 3 at once, it's an insurmountable handicap. The block and the shot are iconic moments, don't get me wrong, but they don't happen in a vacuum. They happen in a Game 7 where the Warriors have no interior defense, their own MVP is struggling to create space, and the weight of the Draymond suspension and Bogut injury has completely crippled them. The 2016 comeback is a legendary story in the media, but it's a story that comes with huge, undeniable asterisks, which are often not spoken about, because it just takes the whole legendary out of it. It was less a case of David slaying Goliath and more a case of David facing a giant who had already been hamstrung. So while it's a phenomenal achievement, claiming it makes you the GOAT is a stretch. That's not a good look, bro. It will always be one of the most overblown titles in NBA history. Thank you for watching. Subscribe, like, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you. Peace.